Hello and welcome back to Tech and EduSpark Hub, where technology meets education. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at more examples still on the chain rule method of differentiation. So let's say we have something like y equal to square root of ax squared plus b, and we are asked to find the derivative of this equation. So we have y equal to square root of ax squared plus b. So in this case, remember that we are going to use the chain rule method to this case because we are having what? Two terms adding each other. So we can express this as an indices by saying y is equal to open bracket ax squared plus b raised to power what? You can see square root is what? Half. So remember, square root can be expressed as what? Half. So this is what we have if we express this in terms of indices. So now that we have this, we can then apply our chain rule method of differentiation. So we say let u equal to everything that we have in this bracket, which is what? Ax squared plus b. So now that we let u equal to everything that we have in the bracket, we can now differentiate u with respect to what? X. So we will then have the u over the x to be equal to. So when you differentiate this, look at this a as a number. So we have the 2, which is the power, to multiply everything. So we have the power coming to the front. So we have 2ax raised to power 2 minus 1. So the power will be subtracted by 1. So instead of writing raised to power 1 in this case, we can just leave it as x because anything raised to power 1 is that thing. So we have 2ax plus. So this b is standing as a constant. So when you differentiate the constant, so it is standing as a constant because it doesn't have any x variable. So that is why we represent it as a constant. So when you differentiate the constant, you are going to get 0. So we can now say our du over the x is equal to 2ax. So now that we have gotten our du over the x to be equal to 2ax, let's get our dy over du. So we know that y is equal to, so instead of rewriting everything that we have in this bracket, we know that u is equal to ax squared plus b. So we can express this term as u. So we have y equal to u raised to power what? 1 over 2. So because u is standing for everything in this bracket and we have the power which is 1 over 2. So we can now differentiate y with respect to u. So we have the y over the u to be equal to, so the power will come to the front, which is 1 over 2 multiplied by u raised to power 1 over 2 minus 1. So the power will be subtracted by 1. So in this case, we are going to have our dy over du as 1 over 2 multiplied by, so when you subtract it, you are going to have u raised to power minus 1 over 2. So moving on, we are going to have 1 over 2 multiplied by, so we can express this as a term of rational number. So we are going to have 1 over u raised to power 1 over 2. So how do we get 1 over u raised to power 1 over 2? Remember that if we have something like, let's say you have something like u raised to power minus 2, you can write this as what? 1 over u raised to power 2. So writing this u raised to power minus half, we are going to have 1 over u raised to power, that thing that we still have here. Because when you write this, you are still going to have 2. So that is how we have 1 divided by u raised to power 1 over 2. So in this case, our dy over du will be given as what? 1 over 2 multiplied by what? U raised to power 1 over 2. And remember that this 1 over 2 is what? Is square root. So yes, it can be expressed as a square root. So we can have this as 1 divided by 2 square root of u. So this is what we are going to get when we multiply this and change this half back to square root. So now that we have gotten our du over dx and also dy over du, so we can now use our chain rule method of differentiation formula, which is given as dy over dx is equal to what? Dy over du multiplied by du over dx. So in this case, applying this concept, we know that our du over dx is what? 2ax. So we have 2ax multiplied by what? 1 divided by 2 square root of u. Because yes, so this our du over dx is what? 2ax, and this our dy over du is what? 1 divided by 2 raised to power u. This is commutative, so you can put it, you can arrange it anyhow. You are still going to get the same answer. So our dy over dx will be equal to, so this multiplied by 1 will give us what? 2ax. So we have 2ax all over what? 2 raised to power square root of u. So this is what we are going to get. And remember that our u is what? U is equal to what? Ax squared plus b. So we are going to have something like the y. Let me just write that here. So we are going to have the y over the x to be equal to, so we are going to have 2ax all over, what is our u? We have 2 square root of what? So our u is ax squared plus b. So this is what we are going to have, ax squared plus b. And these two can cancel these two. So we are going to have the y over the x to be given as ax all over square root of ax squared plus b. And this is given as our final answer to question of this type. So you can see it is very, very simple. You just have to apply your chain rule method of differentiation and apply your law of indices to this kind of question. So this will be all on this lesson. Attempt this question on the screen and let me know your answer in the comments. And until next time, I will see you in the next one.